show. We're going to start with the news that everyone's talking about this morning. It's been rocking the ballroom, hasn't it, following weeks of speculation. It was confirmed yesterday that professional dancer Giovanni Pernice will not be returning to the new series of Strictly Come Dancing.
This comes following the reports that the BBC has launched an internal investigation into his conduct after several celebrity contestants made allegations of abusive and threatening behaviour, which Giovanni has denied.
Yeah. As the show, though, prepares to celebrate its 20th anniversary, what does it mean for the future of Strictly? Well, we're joined now in the studio by one of Giovanni's former ballroom co-stars, Kristina Rihanoff. Lovely to see you, Kristina.
Morning, lovely to be here.
First and foremost, what was your reaction to the news?
News are very saddened because I think when you lose one of the best choreographers and dancers on the show, as a professional dancer, I can say that it's very sad because he produced some very memorable dances and took quite a few of his celebrity partners all the way to the final. So from the professional point of view, I think the show will lose a wonderful dancer and choreographer.
And coming from that professional point of view, obviously, the idea is that you have to deliver. And you have to deliver week after week, top-notch performances. I think the audience now at home want to see people do an amazing job. So how strict do you have to be? And how do you find that balance between, you know, I've hosted a dance show, so I know how strict that can be. But obviously it's a celebrity who's stepping in, so you have to kind of change your parameters slightly.
100%. I think all of us on the show are quite strong perfectionists. We're coming from a competitive background. And we want the best, not just for ourselves, but for our celebrities too. I think we all can be very strict, maybe even brutal sometimes, because we want to deliver a good dance. There's absolutely no way that we need to be, as it was reportedly said, abusive or anything of that nature. But we do have a job, and it's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on us to deliver a great dance. Because if we do a bad dance and not so good choreography, we're also in the wrong. We're also going to be dragged through the public, you know, comments, though, you don't do good choreography. But if we push a little bit and we say something, then again, you're also in the wrong. So it's a very difficult territory to be in. And I'm not here to defend or offend anyone. I'm just here to say what I know of Giovanni and my time with him on the show.
When you were one of the Strictly stars as well, Kristina, do you think you ever overstepped the mark with some of your partners?
I hope not.
But when you think back to it now, because, I mean, those...
Maybe a little bit with John Sargent. I was really pushing him hard, and that's why he dragged me across the floor.
Didn't he? Yeah, quite.
I think because I was always teaching from the very young age, you know, I had my dance schools and I taught different ages from children to adults. I'm quite accustomed to teach any level, any age. I still now have a massive dance school, you know, kids. And I kind of know how to break down the information, how to deliver, how to maybe not to really overwhelm, let's say, the celebrity, because they are under a lot of stress. But Giovanni said it himself. He is a perfectionist. He is driven to deliver. If there was something said in the wrong way, I suppose we're yet to find out. What I think not very nice to see is that month and month and month of stories, and we still yet don't know the facts. So I think from the point of view when he worked on the show with me and we danced in some group numbers, he was always a very nice, easygoing guy who is there just to do his job. You know, it can be a very difficult space when all of us professionals come together, do a dance, you know, let's say a routine for Saturday night, and we have a lot of strong personalities in the room. He was one who was very easy to work with, for me, for what I know of him as a professional dancer. Obviously, I was never with him in the room when he was teaching a celebrity. And another point to make that, you know, there was a lot of speculation that he was saying that all the sessions must be recorded and he requested that or something like that. In my 8 years of the show, I have never had a single session without video cameras there. It's always been recorded.
From beginning to end?
To beginning to end.
Okay.
During my years. Maybe it's slightly changed because I'm not on the show for a few years now. So it's kind of somewhere an odd information because to my knowledge, they always have to record for many, many reasons and policies and so on.
So that footage would be somewhere? If something like that.
So.
Did you ever see any celebrities when you were on the show, and like you say you were there for 8 years, that were really struggling with the pressure, because there's a lot of pressure of turning up on a Saturday night, and then struggling with the impact of going through and having to rehearse even more, and probably struggling with how hard they were being pushed by there? dancers?
I'm not going to go far. I'm going to tell you about my dance partner, Jason Donovan. He was a wonderful person to work with. We obviously made it to the finals. He was actually probably pushing me even harder than I was pushing him, because I think that Australian sort of drama background, he was a perfectionist. He wanted more hours. He wanted more rehearsals. I was exhausted because he wanted more and more rehearsals. But he found confidence in that, and I was happy to do that because it was important to him. And I remember before the semi-finals, I literally found him in the corner, nearly crying, just standing there with, you know, sort of, he was a new dad at that time. And, you know, sleepless nights and a lot of hours of rehearsals. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself, because they put a lot of pressure on themselves, you know, because they're already stars in their own right, in their own fields. So they feel that they have to do exactly the same in our field. But it's not always possible, because ballroom dancing or any dancing is such a difficult thing to master, especially in a short time, like a couple of hours a day. So I just came over to him and gave him a hug. I said, Jason, it's going to be okay. What if I'm going to make a mistake? I said, well, so what? You're going to make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake. Yeah. You can't do, we're all humans. But they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And definitely a lot of people struggle. And we are too, as professionals. Yeah. It's a long show, it's a lot of grueling hours, and a lot of pressure on us. Because when we have a bad day, we don't really talk about it to anyone.
No. And so much of it is also down to the individual. Like you mentioned there, Jason, you know, he grew up on Neighbour. You know, he did all of that even as a kid. So he can take it.
For him, it was completely okay.
But there were definitely some people, I feel, that go on the show that maybe they need a slightly softer approach. It can't just be a one-size-fits-all.
More nurturing. And maybe, you know, if you drilling your celebrities every single year, you think, oh, that works, and I'll do it with everyone. You know, yes, of course, we have to be somewhat psychologist as well. Of
course.
And read the personality, you know, and sometimes you just feel the heat, you feel the pressure, you have to deliver the dance, and maybe you don't really see how you can push that person. And, you know, it's just clash of personalities sometimes.
Yeah.
Kristina, what do you think this means for Strictly? It's the 20th anniversary, it's a big celebration year. I mean, what sort of impact does this have on the show?
I think the show will always going on and do great things, because they have great kind of pool of dancers. I think it is sad that someone like Giovanni is not going to be there. I personally always look forward to his choreography, because that's what I appreciate on the outside, because this is the job I love and used to do. And I think he, like I said before, produced some beautiful dances, and it's always exciting to watch what he kind of would choreograph. So to me personally, I think the whole situation is very, very sad.
All the feedback we've had from our viewers this morning, from Janice, from Joan, from Catherine, from Denise, all say this is really, really sad news. Giovanni should be in the lineup with everybody else. Janice says, I won't be watching now. Giovanni was my favourite. He's incredibly
so popular.
He's so popular,
OK, well, Kristina, thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you.
In just a moment, we're going to be hearing from two more former Strictly pros, James Ola Jordan. First, let's remind you of how their partnership lit up the ballroom.
And James and Ola Jordan are live for us now from their home
morning,
in
guys.
Kent. Good morning, guys.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
We can't see you. I'm sure you look absolutely beautiful, both of you.
Yeah, we do.
We've been in hair and makeup. We've definitely been in makeup.
As you know. James, I wonder, you know, through all of our Facebook pages, through all the message that we've got on our iPads, everybody is absolutely devastated by this news that Giovanni is stepping back from the next series of Strictly.
It is. It's very sad that it's come to this.
Especially on a 20 years anniversary.
Yeah.
That they've got this cloud hanging over them.
Yeah, and, you know, Strictly is a family entertainment show. Everyone loves it. We watch it now avidly. We love watching it, and you get invested in the couples. And it is a shame that it's come to this. The only thing I will say is there's no smoke without fire. And I've always protected the professional dancers. And we don't know the ins and outs of it. And as Kristina said, unless we see the footage, but I'm sure there's legal reasons, and the BBC, I feel, have dealt with it very well. Now, whether or not Giovanni has decided not to come back, or the BBC have asked him not to come back, I'd be curious to see what the answer to that is. But I feel that BBC have dealt with it pretty well. But there's no smoke without fire. I'd be devastated if one of my previous celebrity partners came forward saying that I was abusive or not treated them nice in training. But he's had 4 So if it was just one, you'd say, OK, maybe a massive clash of characters.
And you're not going to get on with everyone. You know,
No.
there's a lot of personalities and you have to change your teaching methods to every person that you dance with. So I guess, you know, things happen sometimes.
I mean, I had partners like Gabby Logan, Pamela Stevenson, that I could push really, really hard. Like, literally, they'd come into training and I'd pretty much train them like I would if I was training Ola. I could push them as hard as I wanted, be brutal, say when they were doing things wrong. And then I'd have other people that were a lot more self-conscious that you'd have to change and adapt your teaching style to, otherwise you'd break them. Now, I'm known to be very outspoken and very bullish and everything, but when it came to my teaching, I wanted my celebrity partner to have the best Strictly experience ever. Because the way I always looked at it was I got to do it again and again and again. I was fortunate enough that I got to do it for 8 years. Ola did it for 10 years. And I wanted each of my celebrity partners to have the best Strictly experience they could. And I honestly believe if you went and asked all of them, they would say that they had a great time. So for him to have 4 people come forward, there's clearly something there.
Well, look, their allegations, we need to be clear, James. No, we need to be clear. There are allegations that he's vehemently denied. In his statement, he says, "You'll be surprised to know about these allegations that have made about my dance teaching methods in the media this week. Of course, I reject any suggestion of abusive or threatening behaviour. I look forward to clearing my name." The right of reply went on from there.
And hopefully that will happen.
But have 4 people come forward with these allegations? It's not just one person, right? It's 4 people.
That's what's been reported.
That will happen.
That's what's being reported. OK, so I can only go on what's being reported. So like I said, I'm not bad-mouthing Giovanni, and none of us clearly know enough about it. So we've been asked to come on here and discuss it. I can only discuss, obviously, what I've read in the papers, the same as you, which is that 4 people have come forward with these allegations. And if that is the case, then you have to sit up and look at it. And isn't the proof in the pudding a little bit? He's not back on the show, so clearly whether or not he has decided not to come back or BBC have not asked him back, there's something going on which we don't know about. And we haven't seen the footage, like I said, for legal reasons, I'm sure. So it's very difficult to comment on something. You can only go on what you've read in the papers.
Oh, look, just quickly, I think the question, on the 20th anniversary of Strictly, which we all love the show, what sort of impact does this have, do you think?
I don't think it has any impact.
I think it's really shame, though, because there is a big cloud over Strictly, but hopefully that will just blow over. Every single professional on that show is amazing, and I hope that every celebrity signing up to this year, they're going to go in with, you know, with just love for the show, because every single professional is amazing, and they're going to do absolutely everything to make the celebrities as good as they can be. And I hope they all have the best time. So let's just put that to the side. And it's a shame that happened after so many years, you know, of the show being on air.
But this isn't the first time. This happens every year.
Obviously,
that there be people that don't get on with their partners. This isn't the first time. This isn't something new. I'm sure in your office there's people that don't get on with each other.
But they have to work
But they have to work with each other. So, yeah.
Well, look, we will look forward to seeing the new series of Strictly, and obviously exciting news that Amy's going to be back as well, which is going to be lovely to have her here. Thank you both.
That is the best news.
I mean, we can concentrate on the positives. Well, thank you both for joining us and offering your thoughts. And as you say, I think we're going to sort of see more with regards to what has happened and why it's happened and how it's happened over the next few weeks, won't we?
Absolutely. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.